Good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the first event of Bazar E UPG, which is Ignite. I always told this team, my IIC team, that both of them are entrepreneurial activities, the Bazar E UPG and Ignite. So, why don't you put it together? Ignite was scheduled, I think, somewhere in the month of January, and Bazar E UPG was so there were some kind of issues which made it fall on the same day, and that is something that we started off with. I think my IIC team would agree that I think let us do this every year like this, and what better it could be to have our own students uh, on the panel here for a discussion and guiding the students who are going to be, looking forward to either joining, maybe having startups or, joining business world very soon now. So I think I was telling Arshia also that many students I hear in the BMS team that we had started from the first year itself, and now it has culminated into a company, and we have so many branches, and that is what we seeing here. So happy to have our students on the panel today, and I think I was telling Pari also that we are ready to ignite the floor, and 3 days of Bazar E UPG we are going to fill with a lot of entrepreneurial activity. I think the stalls and all are coming up. We see few stalls and all that, but our students also put up stalls which are going to be coming up in the next 2 days. So that is what I understand about the event. I declare Bazar E UPG 2026 open.
Sorry everyone for keeping you all waiting, but the traffic of Bombay is very bad to come on time.
Not an issue, ma'am.
We have a third speaker here as well, Mrs. Jimmy Shah, the founder of Getaway, an Indian healthy dessert and protein-rich ice cream brand that is also a Shark Tank successful. Thank you, Smriti ma'am, for joining us on stage. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to thank our incredible partners who made this event possible. First up, our title sponsor, BGOS, premium electric vehicles designed for urban lifestyle, stylish, powerful and low maintenance, made for commuting, and it makes it smarter and easier.
Next, our voice partner Ari, a digital content powerhouse reaching over 300 million viewers worldwide through videos, podcasts, and web series.
And of course, Youthville, our hostel partner, providing modern, vibrant, youth-centric living spaces that make hostel life fun and comfortable. A big round of applause for 3 sponsors.
Now, we would like to introduce our top coach for the IIC who are going to sit for the speaker session with our panelists today. Our President Pari Nahar and Vice Presidents Hetvi Soni, Sangini Parmar, and Alisha Wagle.
Women empowerment.
The floor is open for discussion now.
I think you all can sit.
Thank you so much everyone for joining us today. I'm beyond grateful to start Bazar E UPG officially. Before that, I would love to invite you all today, and I'm so grateful to have you all. Thank you so much for coming.
Hello, a very good morning to everyone present here. So before we begin with the discussion for the day, we'd like to introduce what our event actually is and what we actually do. So at Institutions Innovation Council at Usha Praveen Gandhi College, our motto here is to empower students with the right tools, resources and knowledge that they need to start something of their own, build something of their own, and if nothing, just a personality that empowers them to do so. So at Bazar E UPG, the idea is to provide students with a platform. So a lot of us, we have ideas. There's a lot of things that we think, I can do this, I can start a brand in this, I can do a corporate job, but none of us know how to actually start something. So this is a platform that you can use and utilize to actually pilot your ideas. If you have a thought, you present it. Bazaar is where students come up and they set up stalls to set their pilot ideas, their products, test out audience, get responses, get feedbacks, basically understand how the market works, how sales works, how marketing works. Then we have Imperium, where we invite you all to share industry insights with us. Because what better than somebody who is in the industry and who can help us and budding students to understand the industry. Third part of our fest is Ignite. Ignite is our version of Shark Tank. So on Ignite, what we do is we invite a panel of investors and judges who are there with us. It, it's a 6-hour event basically where we have elevator pitches, Q&A, and the winners do get a chance to get funding from the UPT repository in the government. So that is a platform where all your bathroom ideas, late night thoughts, all of those business ideas that you thought you can put on a presentation but don't really know where to present them, that's where you bring them. So that is the flow for Bazar E UPG. Thank you. Okay, so let's begin with the first part of this, right? Audience, I'm gonna need a little bit of your help, okay? This is not an interview. We are not here to have an interview, like a interview formal setting. This is supposed to be more like a conversation, and we would love if the audience could interact with us. A little difficult in the morning, I understand. Brains are fogged, but we'd still appreciate help, okay? I'll ask a very basic question, a very textbook question, okay? And I need at least 2 people to respond, okay? In one word, what is entrepreneurship? What do you understand? I need 2 people. Either you decide or we decide. The answers are gonna come, I know. There's no volunteers? Amazing.
No chat GPT to be used.
If you allow me to pick up the stool.
Please do.
Shaurya, please answer. Anushka. Startup, she said. Startup.
Something related to startup.
It's one word. We are SYBMS students. It can't be difficult, okay?
Startup.
Okay, we need another answer. What is entrepreneurship to you? What do you mean when you say entrepreneurship?
I think being passionate about doing what you want to. Passionate.
Okay.
Starting something of our own.
Okay, so we have 2 answers. One says that it's passion, one says that it's a startup. What happens here is that what we have there is aspirations. What we have here is reality. So we'd like for you to tell us what entrepreneurship actually is.
Should I answer?
Please.
In one word, I will tell you all later. But in a sentence, I will tell the person who is ready to take all the bets, all the hustles, and all the things that come during the business is an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is equal to business, and business is equal to everyday hustle, everyday firefighting. That's all about what I want to say. But you should never refrain from taking any leap of faith if you have a solid idea.
For me, it would definitely be resilience and a lot of grit, because that's extremely important to have if you are a founder or an entrepreneur. It looks very glamorous from the outside, it looks extremely fun and exciting, but as soon as you get into it, you realize how much you really need to do to actually keep your company alive, and to actually run the business to grow to scale. So anyone that has a lot of resilience and grit would, that's basically how I feel an entrepreneur should be. Um, yeah, that's
I think the ladies have covered it really well. I don't think there's anything else to it. Entrepreneurship is, for if you would ask me, it would be passion and resilience, as she said, and as ma'am said, hustle. These are the three things that you need, and resilience is, I think, number one, because you may be passionate or not about your dreams, but you have to be resilient for sure. Yeah,
Okay, what is the biggest advantage? Money, family, connection, talent? What is your viewpoint on all these factors?
advantage to the business.
Yeah, like advantage in starting something of your own. Does these things really help someone? Or if someone wants to start everything from scratch, what they can do?
Money is always going to be the answer. That you need to even start
According
off.
to a college student, if a TY or someone is passing out, what they can do just after their college to start something on their own?
So in my personal journey, we started the business with 10,000 rupees. That's it. Like that was there was a basic home kitchen that we set up, and that was about it. So you can start from something so low, and you don't have to feel that whether I'll be able to do it or make it big one day. It's like a step-by-step process. You can never go from here to here because that journey, even if you are able to, it may not be sustainable. So it's always better to have that kind of a journey where you grow slow but steady growth. That's my journey. I would like.
Excuse me, I'm really sorry. I would have to change your mind.
So I was not much older than you guys when I actually started my business. I was in my first year of college, in this very college for that matter. All the teachers here, Mayur sir, Sharon ma'am, they know about it. And I think for me, it was honestly I just wanted to do something. Money was obviously, that's a byproduct as well. But at that point, I was 19 years old. I didn't think much about money. I was just extremely passionate about the space. So I just made an Instagram account. My logo was made on Canva. I didn't even have a website. I just started selling my products online. I used the power of content really well. I created all the content pieces myself, sort of spoke to customers myself initially, posted on my Instagram page initially. Everything was done by me. Delivering orders was completely done by me. So that's how I really got a lot of hands-on experience and learned a lot about how to actually run a business, because when you do things yourself, it really makes a very big difference for you to actually learn the entire process. So that's where I feel it was very important to just start. A lot of people are scared and they have a lot of fear that, oh, like if I start it won't work out. But I feel like when you're younger, you can take higher risks. You don't have that much responsibility. You should definitely take any opportunity that comes your way, because entrepreneurship is all about risk taking.
In my view, I believe that the most important thing to start a business is a solid idea. There are so many products which are not even available in sometimes in India. You replicate most of the Western countries' products and you start a small business, right? But if you have a very original, solid idea, I think there is no stopping around. In my personal capacity, I would like to tell you all that I was not from a background of food. I did not know any science of food. My son came and told me that I am bored of having whey protein shake every day after coming from the gym. Please do something, make some dessert, make some ice cream. And I was telling him, just ignoring him, I was in a diamond jewelry business, which is a luxury business. And coming into food background and everything, I was a little hesitant. He started blackmailing me emotionally, saying that there is 130 crore population. If somebody else grabs my idea, you will regret your whole lifetime. And that sentence was my kickstart. So I think if you have a solid idea, you should never be having any doubt for it. You should start. Success is a matter of your own perseverance, your own dedication. Money will flow into it. Money is necessary. I'm not saying it is not, but once you have a solid idea, a solid category to build on, do some research, get to know what the market needs, what people need. I remember like 10 years back, Cloud Kitchen had just started. Swiggy, Zomato, food delivery platforms, right? And the complete deviation is right now coming into quick commerce. The quick commerce channel has grabbed a lot of retail business, a lot of cloud kitchen business. People want things within 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So especially for impulsive category, the quick commerce channel works best. I think I wouldn't know, but yes, desert therapy also will be facing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that you should have a strong idea, you should have confidence in yourself, and you should feel that this category can grow to leaps and bounds, and that you can take advices from a lot of people who will suggest you that yes, market will grow for the next 10 years and you can build it slowly. That's what all I have to say about this.
Ma'am, following up on your point that a lot of people give advice about a lot of things at this age, especially, we have a lot of mentors or teachers. There's a lot of input we get in life. What was the first thing you realized that you assume something from hearing from other people, or for that matter, what you've seen on Instagram, and it turned out to be completely different in reality and it like hit you? What was that point?
You're trying to say that due to some Instagram reels or something that has bounced us or something that type. I think for us, Shark Tank season 1 was the challenge point. Till then, we were having almost only 10, 12 cloud kitchens. Later on, we developed 30. By the time the show aired in January 2022, we were already having 30, 35 cloud kitchens. But at that time, that national popularity of the brand was with zero expense of marketing. And we were chosen to Shark Tank only because we had won a prize in Amazon Sambhav, like the third largest emerging brand in India. So these things kept us up, and I feel then there was no looking back to.
So I have a good question. If someone wants to start a brand, but they have a price range starting from a higher price range. So suppose if the product is starting from 10K and they don't have a market or customer base already, and we are starting from scratch. So how do you build that, and how people or customer will trust us to buy a 10K product in the starting?
I really feel like it's not about pricing always. I think a product that is sort of 10,000 rupees, it really depends on the kind of value you're giving the customer. If the customer feels like it's worth buying, for 10,000 rupees, that's where you need to sort of, hit the nail on the head when it comes to showing your customer what the value is of your product. So it could be for 5,000, 10,000, for 500 rupees also. But if your customer actually feels like this is valuable to me, I will be able to use this product, or I feel like this is very, very important in my life, I think that's where one should probably start. Trying to create that value for the product initially is what I believe would probably work.
No, it's like if the product is affordable, so people will buy it easily, and in the first go, they can trust, like, let's just try the product. But if it's expensive, they don't trust easily. And even if I build the Instagram, since it's very trendy nowadays in Gen Zs, so even if I build that, even if I have everything online ready, good content, even if I approach influencers as well, but like customer base, how to have like permanent customer base or something?
The way I would probably go about it is to probably build community. So having a lot of experiential pop-ups around the city that you live in, actually inviting your customers to feel and touch your product in real life, not expecting them to purchase anything, But when there's a human interaction involved, that's where the customer would probably trust your product and actually understand, okay, this is something that's worth 10,000 rupees. I need to at least see it before I buy it. If you're going to buy anything which is gold, or if you're going to buy silver, you don't buy it online, right? You always go to a store and you touch and you feel it, and that's when you make your decision. So it's super important if you are going for a luxury, you're going for the luxury market, you need to make sure that you do sort of build your community offline and make sure your consumers can actually try out your products beforehand, because once they do, they will probably vouch for you and maybe spread the word. Secondly, I believe that every brand needs to have an entry level product if you're going online specifically. If you do have anything worth 10,000 rupees, I would have something slightly lower priced so that my customer can get a feel of the brand initially without burning a hole in their pocket, and then sort of maybe like a small tester or a small sample of your product which they can buy at a more reasonable price. Then that would make a lot of sense for them to, that's the entry level point for your brand basically. And then they wouldn't mind buying something that's sort of 10,000 rupees.
Can I say something?
Honestly speaking, in India, there is only 1.5% of luxury buyers. And especially when it comes to online products, there is a lot of fear to the customers that, if we buy and then, if the online portal is not shady and it may not give in time, etc., etc. These are 10,000 questions which come to a person's mind before buying something worth 10,000, or even I would say 5,000 to 10,000. So you have to understand the psychology of the customer and build on that if you want to start any kind of digital service. So you cannot target only niche customers. If you want to do something online, you should have focus on mass premium category rather than having focus on the luxury category. This is what I would advise.
So many a times when we talk about a product, we almost like it clicks in the mind that this brand, ये brand का ये product अच्छा है. If you are buying this product, then यही brand. So does brand name, the brand value matter more or the product? Like after years into the industry.
There's two answers to this. I feel like your branding, your marketing can get you your first sale. Someone would definitely buy from you if you have great positioning, you have great marketing. But the second sale always comes because of your product. If the person is not happy with your product, you're not getting that second sale. So you can spend how much ever you want in marketing, you can spend how much ever you want in brand positioning, perception. But if your product is faulty and they probably don't like it, they're never coming back to you. So yeah, I think this could go two ways. Initially, to get your first customer, definitely marketing positioning is super important, but product is equally important for you to get that customer back to your brand.
Yeah, basis that I would completely agree, because for us, especially dessert therapy, we've never had any kind of marketing budget over the years. Like, it's mainly the product first. Nailing the product is, according to me, the most important thing. Only then you can go, longer in the game, because like she very well mentioned, that people should be coming back to you, because your first customer is always going to be the most important person. If they can vouch for you and they can, tell their peers that, this is a good brand, and even if you're not a brand at that moment, you're just a name, they will be the ones who will bring back other people. And that's how we've built our business. We've never had exorbitant amounts to spend on marketing. Like, it's just been brand building through word of mouth and community building. That's about it, yeah.
So the thing is, you all belong to different industries and the sectors that you cater to. And what happens right now is that when we're on the topic of content and marketing as we speak, so content is so relevant these days that we study content as a subject in our first year of study, okay? And what happens is, because of the rise of content creators, we lose value of authenticity. And a lot of times, as much as it's building hype, marketing, and popularity among the cafe culture, you talk about cosmetic industry or even food and beverage industry for that fact, it's not always positive in the sense that there's always going to be critics. But how does hype marketing affect you in a way that it takes a toll on the sales or the crux of the product itself? Um, okay, so what I mean to say is that every few months there is one trend that picks up, right? There's like a ton of content creators, there's content that is being generated. I won't even say made because most content these days is generated. However, what happens is this content does not have authenticity to it most of the times. How is this affecting your brand? The authenticity of this content, the mass content that is generated.
If I talk about dessert therapy, see a lot of businesses will keep having competition from newcomers in the market. Uh, Certain brands will sustain on the hype. Certain brands will fade away after a point of time. But what again it comes from like whatever in my experience whatever we've done is we've not gone by the what the market is dictating in terms of content creation because we have a set audience and we want to cater to them first. We don't want to lose out on them by adapting something else in the due course. So what is important is always keep doing well what is already working, and then within that niche that you've created yourself, you can cater to those people in a better manner. Of course, relevancy is very important, so you have to make content which is relatable to the current generation. But at the same time, you shouldn't be losing focus so much on creating hype that your brand and your product won't speak for it. So, as far as hype marketing is concerned, I feel there's a lot of influx of new brands that comes into the market. But if you have to stay longer, like ma'am said, you have to nail the product first. Like only then there's any future for the brand. If you just want to get an exit in a year or two and just make money like that, then you can always do hype marketing and get away with it. But to stay longer in the business, you will definitely that hype marketing is not going to work for a very long time.
Okay, these days we have a lot of competitors in every industry. So like what did you thought when you started? Like what problem you are solving when you entered the market?
For dessert therapy, I think we had the first mover advantage in many ways because we were the first pure vegetarian dessert brand as such, a cafe. Secondly, we were a restaurant style seating for only desserts, which which is still a rarity. Like today, also in the market, there are very few places who serve desserts as a restaurant would in a restaurant style seating, having a completely vegetarian menu. So those were the advantages that worked in our favor. Also, product wise, we were the very first people in the market to introduce cheesecakes of more than 20 flavors. Like we've been doing Biscoff since 2016, which like nobody even was aware of Biscoff back then. It was so expensive to import it that we had to stop making it because nobody was buying, because nobody knew what Biscoff is like. So this goes that far back that so having the first mover advantage helped us, because of which we didn't have to spend a lot on marketing and garnering sales, because just what we were doing was a little different from the market, and that's how we built our customer base over the years.
So when I started in cosmetics, obviously I was much younger. I didn't have the knowledge of what is brand building, what is my story, what do I really want to solve with this particular brand. But obviously, over the few years, we found a purpose which is sort of bringing inclusive makeup to India. A lot of brands back then were just international brands. When we started off, there were barely any Indian brands doing makeup on a larger scale for the entire country. So there was no makeup being created for brown skin, which is the entire problem that we sort of wanted to solve. We also just recently launched something called Tint Labs, where you can actually come in and create your own makeup, because that's how personalized we want to get into the entire space, where you should feel like this product was made exactly for you. So that's what we sort of wanted to solve by starting Tint Cosmetics, also bringing in a wider range of products. So we have about 20 plus just shades and lip glosses. We're working on 150 foundation shades so that every single woman in this country can sort of get the right shade of foundation for themselves. Yeah, I think that's the main crux of us doing what we do, and it's a really fun journey.
So in 2018, when we started Getaway ice creams with high protein and no added sugar, it started from my home kitchen. And this category never existed. It was just out of the queer want and desire that we should create this category, because diabetes is 80% of the population in the whole world are in India who have diabetes. Second thing was that, protein requirement, the daily requirement, most of the Indians did not know until 2021 when COVID hit. Today everyone knows about protein, and the protein game is going to be there for the next couple of decades, I bet. Because every Gen Z now know that if my body weight is 50 kg, I have to have 50 grams divided into 3 meals every day. And I'm sure, like how my son got bored having his whey protein shake, there are people now who are looking forward to protein bars like Super You, Whole Truth. You're looking for protein cookies, protein chips, protein ice cream. So in all formats, when you start getting protein, I feel really very grateful to God that my son gave me this idea and we implemented it, because to build a category now, especially the healthy ice cream category, is almost 200 crores. When we started, we were not even doing 7 lakhs per annum in 2018. Today we are doing almost 40 crores a year. So this category is growing because the awareness of nutrition is building into the new generation. That's all what I have to say. Thank you.
One point where you thought you almost gave up, like you don't want to continue with this because there was no success, or a failure point that you can share with us?
I don't think so there was any failure point. I don't think so any three of us had any failure points, because I believe that we all three founders sitting here, we have the passion, we have the drive to run the business by hook or by crook, even if we have to burn pocket in our holes, right? So I don't think so there is any failure if you really have that intention to keep growing. Whatever the world may say, keep doing best and better every day. Even 1% better every day will relate to 400 times the annual result. So I don't believe that there can be any failure unless and until the destiny is not with you, right?
For me, I don't think it was a failure, but it was a very tough time running the business, because this is something I started in 2020 when I was in my first year of college, and obviously 2 years were online for me, but the third year got extremely challenging because I had to juggle between college as well as my business, and I was on the defaulters list every month. And I have, I think, broken down to my user like so many times that what do I do, like I can't manage both of them. But I think that's what helped me grow as a person. It's probably given me a lot of resilience, that whatever anyone throws at me, I can just take it at this point. I'm not going to sort of sit and cry about it. I'm going to sort of find a problem and make sure it works out at the end, because that's the sort of mindset you need to have over here. You cannot think negatively even at once that, oh, I'm failing, this is not working out, I'm going to give up now. You have to keep going, you have to keep problem solving. That's the mindset everyone should have.
I'm sorry. When we started, both my kids were having fantastic corporate jobs because they were from NMIMS, MBAs, And my son used to come every day night and he used to tell me, I hope mom you're not getting tired doing this business. You're already 48, 50, that's it. And I used to tell him, Warren Buffett started his journey of being an entrepreneur at 55. Why can't I? So, this kind of zest should be there in you. I did not know to use Excel because I was in a diamond jewelry business. उसमें कुछ Excel का काम नहीं हुआ करता था. So once I was just collating all the website orders with all the data to be put in that and to write everything. I was not being able to do the sum. I called my daughter when on a Sunday when she was free. I said, you come and teach me this. She said, no, let it be. I'll do it for you. I said, no, teach me. Because at this age, if you learn, if you dive and try to get with the pace of the younger generation, only then you will be able to grow. So this also is a very important thing. Like rightly she has said, she started her journey from probably 18 years old, right? 19 years old. So younger you start, the more you will get developed towards that journey of having a good startup, entrepreneur, business, whatever you may call. And as rightly he had said, that you should never have the vision of exit. Even today, when my son tells me, are you ready to exit in 3 years? I said, I am here to stay for 10 more years. You all can exit your stakes, but not me. So this kind of perseverance is very, very necessary if you really want to become very successful.
So I don't know if you all know, I started this business with my younger brother, who's a 5th standard dropout. So we were already so rock bottom that quitting there was no quitting, there was no option to quit. My brother had a severe case of ADHD, because of which he used to not be able to concentrate in his classes, and he developed a school phobia from there, which we didn't even know existed till he got that. So for me, I had to look after my brother's future, and that's how we started. He had a knack and passion for making food and desserts and everything. So we were like, let's do something, which can secure your future. And I also didn't have a steady career option where I was thriving. So we was like, let's just do this, and that's where we started from. So quitting to option mein hai hi nahi was the scenario back then.
Okay, now we'll start with round 2. We have 3 chits. You have to pick one. We have 3 rounds. So basically, one is rapid fire, next is this or that, and third is myth or reality. So each one of you play one round, and then we'll open the questions for audience.
The same round you are going to continue with 3 of us, is it?
No. So whatever is there in your
Okay,
chat,
only that.
you have to play that.
Okay.
So I got rapid fire.
Okay, so the question for you is, what is one habit that changed your career?
Resilience. Yeah.
What's one advice you'd give your 21-year-old self?
Hustle more. Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah.
Biggest myth about entrepreneurship?
It's easy. Like, it's big, it's easy, it's flashy. That's the biggest myth. Yes.
What's one book you think every student should read?
I am not a good reader myself, so I wouldn't be. I'm not the right person to give that answer to you.
Okay, and if every student present here had one thing to take from this session, what would it be?
I think there's a lot of collective, experience that they can draw. See, everyone's life is different, so they can adapt something. There will be some valuable input or output from here that they can, grasp and incorporate that in their life, in their, subjective life. Yeah.
Next we have myth versus reality. So you have to answer very fast. So I'll ask the questions. You need funding to grow.
Not necessary.
Instagram success equals to brand success.
50-50.
College doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. School matters.
Failure is necessary.
I didn't get you, sorry.
Failure is necessary.
Failure is not necessary, but to overcome failure should be a very good skill.
Hard work beats strategy.
100%.
Next segment we have is this or that. I'll be giving you two options and you have to select which one. Bootstrap or raise funds?
Bootstrap initially, then raise funds.
Brand first or product first?
Product first.
Instagram growth or repeat customers?
Repeat customers.
Hire fast or hire slow?
Hire fast, fire fast.
Trends or timelessness?
Timelessness.
Founder instinct or data?
Sorry, come on.
Founder's instinct or data?
50-50, it's both. Thank you.
Okay, so now we'd like to open the forum for students to ask a few questions. But before we begin that segment of this, there's a few things that, as students, we would personally like to discuss or have your insights on. So what happens is when you're at the end of your second year or your third year, you're presented with certain pathways. First is placements and packages. Second is you don't want to sit for placements because you don't know what you'll say. So you're like, okay, I will try something on my own. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we sit for placements or we sit for jobs again. Third is you ditch all of that and go for a direct MBA. And what happens in the middle of all three options is I have an idea, I don't have the funds for it, but I want to do it. So do you just go right in with the idea? Do you sit for corporate placements? Do you get corporate experience and then venture out into entrepreneurship? Or just what is your take on MBA in the middle of all of this? Because a lot of us are confused. We are at the end of our degrees, and a lot of us do not know what pathway would fit the best in the sense experience or knowledge.
I definitely feel, in my personal journey, in my opinion, it's always experience. Even if you join a corporate, you might join a really big company, but you're handling one small role, you're not really getting the entire picture, you're not getting the entire experience, then you cannot just apply one role into your own company, right? You need to know how it runs as a whole. I feel like the best way to grow is to explore opportunities and learn with a startup. That's where you're hands-on with everything. The teams are smaller, you get to learn so much more, you get to see every single department work, you get to have an input in every single thing that they do. It's really important to explore all your opportunities. I would say not even after college, while you're in college, please do internships. Please work at places where you feel like, okay, this is something I'm interested in doing. Please do that. You're young, you have the time to do it. Once you're older, you definitely don't have time to explore at that point. So make sure you're making the best of your time right now. Don't say no to things. Try to do things you never thought you would do in your life. That's exactly what happened with me, and it changed my life completely. Just please don't ever think that, oh, this is not meant for me. What will people say when I do this? Don't do that, because that's where you're limiting your growth a lot. Take every single opportunity, take every single risk, take that internship. If you like filmmaking, go into filmmaking. If you like makeup, get into makeup. If you like the food industry, please do that. If you like the jewelry business, please do an internship somewhere, or just learn from someone you really are inspired by. It's just going to help you in the long run. So I would say, to conclude, it really doesn't matter. I just feel like a lot of getting experience hands-on is a bigger learning than any MBA or any other course that you might probably do.
See, I believe you guys are really very, very lucky because your parents have done well in their lives. This was not the case when we have raised our kids, okay? So, you all are blessed to have a lot of support from your family. You do not have to hustle much for daily finances, etc. But if you have that solid idea, you have to get your parents into that confidence that you will build this and you will struggle to build this. So this is one thing that I would like to address to everyone, because these days what I have seen is, not in a wrong way, but yes, right now you, every one of you are in a very comfort zone. Am I right? So you have to come out of your comfort zone to become successful is my only advice.
Gen Z is a very privileged lot. You just have to make sure you know how to use your privilege rightly. And once you do that, I'm an example. So I'm also Gen Z. So once you do that, like, success is yours.
Yeah, I think they've put it right, you know, like it's not going to be easy to start a business. So, you know, when we started Dessert Therapy, we started it from home because we didn't have the luxury to even ask for an investment for that. And, you know, we used to do everything on our own, like, you know, deliveries and staying up all night to making orders and, you know, all of that. So that kind of, I'm sorry I lost the question in the process, but if you don't mind repeating the question, is what you should be doing next, right? For getting the experience, the right experience. In my case, I was, as soon as we finished the MS, I was supposed to fly abroad to pursue my master's, but that was the peak of recession. I was just telling her backstage that, you know, my dad did not let me go. So then what was the next option? You know, you don't have everything set for you all the time, but you know what's most important is, like Arsha also mentioned, that you know you have to sort of be involved in all the walks of the business. Only then you would be able to you know, get a grasp of what is required. Even when we started our own cafe, it was middle, right in the heart of you know, lockdown. So we did all the jhadu, pota, bartan, everything, because we didn't get the right resources to hire also, because people weren't moving out that much. So we used to sweep the floor, everything, like, you know, right from doing the waiter's job to the back room staff and everything. So that taught us a lot, you know, where we are, where we need to take the business, what would be the right person to hire for this particular role, that particular role. So entrepreneurship is truly a journey rather than having all answers in front of you. And like they rightly mentioned, there's a lot of information out there today. When I started, social media wasn't even a thing. You know, so it is much more, of course it is a lot more foggier today because you have so much information, so much download on the data, but at the same time you have the right resources, and you know, it should be a little bit easier to start something of your own, as you know, as compared to what it was back then. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. We'd now like to open the forum for our professors and students. If you all have anything you all wish to ask. These are industry experts right there who started off at different stages in life, and there's a lot to gain from. So, can we have the mic in down, please?
Whoever is going to ask maximum questions is going to be the first entrepreneur.
So my question for you guys is, what was the turning point for a business? Like, what was the catalyst for your business?
For us, I feel like because we sort of started in a very homegrown way and everything was very organic and just specifically online, it was doing a lot of strategic partnerships with creators as well as a brand. So we launched a collection with Parul Gulati, and that's where we sort of got onto the map, where people started recognizing us a little more and also trusted the brand because we sort of put a face to it. Then we did another a collection with Emily in Paris. That's also something that really helped us sort of grow. It also acts as a catalyst because people have already heard about these brands, and when you do collaborate and have a strategic collaboration with them, it just sort of adds on to your brand.
I think the catalyst to our brand was orders coming in during COVID. We had a lot of Bollywood actors ordering our ice creams, considering Hrithik Roshan, Karan Johar, and that was the biggest catalyst. I said, if customers are directly ordering on Instagram and on our WhatsApp channel, and I was the only one who used to answer them. So I remember at least 1,000 customers in the initial phase of COVID who used to order more than 5,000, 10,000 rupees of ice cream a month. That was the biggest catalyst which brought in confidence into me as well that this category will definitely grow.
Yeah, for us also, I think COVID was the major catalyst, because up until COVID, the scenario was very different. We didn't know the market well enough, but during COVID, we discovered the need for something that is, made from scratch, kind of a homegrown dessert kind of a brand. And also, how much people missed indulgence during COVID. So that is something that led to the next phase of of our chapter. Pre-COVID we were a home based dessert brand. Then during COVID we opened our first cafe. So it, rather than working against us, COVID kind of helped us as a catalyst.
So if you guys don't mind, I have one more question. Like, where do you guys see your businesses in 5 years of time?
If you ask me, see, I don't look that far into the future concretely. Of course, you should know where you want to take your business and brand, but the answers are where you should be in the next 1 year, 2 years, especially with a volatile market and the kind of competition that keeps coming. You should rather have answers for the next couple of years than looking into 5 years, 10 years down the line. That's what I believe in.
I kind of agree because the market is ever shifting, the trends are ever changing. You can't always think that 5 years down the line my brand is going to look like this, because you're constantly pivoting as a company to match your customers and to sort of be a part of their lifestyle. So yeah, I think having a set vision in terms of what you want to do with your company is important. So for us, that would definitely be bringing in more beauty tech components and making sure that makeup can be easily customized for every skin tone, and that's what we're doing with Tint Lab. So definitely having more and more stores to access more people, for them to try out products that are truly meant for them.
I believe that if we start a product and that product is growing, and if we have some vision, we should be very, very clear on our vision focus. Keep on building better products, keep on adding to that category more products, and give better options to people, and have a vision of definitely 5 year, 10 year down the line. If you have that benchmark vision that I want to make my brand reach to 10,000 households, that should be the target, and you have to work backwards for that. So I believe in having targets for 5 year, 10 year down the line. I mean, how much ever the scenarios may change, the habits may change, but still, if as a brand, if you have that vision, you will work backwards on that and you will achieve those successes, is what I believe in.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any more question? Anyone? Yeah. So, sure. Yeah, you can be loud.
So, do you think influencer marketing is the way to go for the companies that are coming in the market and the existing companies also, other than your industry?
I believe that influencer marketing works for new age brands. It does definitely work. But these days, there is so much of content of influencers that one day they will talk about good product, the second day about similar product but in a different category, which is not a good product. I believe that today influencers are focusing more on negative content than on positive content. Without understanding the product, without understanding things, they keep on defaming those brands. Recently, even we have got that kind of content creation from one guy, and there have been 10, 15 influencers who have picked up that, but without knowing what is going into it and what is the real test, people just do this for money making. So I don't believe this kind of influencer marketing will keep on going unless and until bigger brands come out of this, what do you say, this jar or something, whatever. Yeah.
I definitely believe influencer marketing is very important, but it's not. It used to be a way to get sales and to get revenue. I think at least 2 3 years ago, but now it's not. Um, it's not going to bring you any revenue. It's only going to bring you more brand awareness. So if that's your goal with influencer marketing, definitely great option. Influencers are very influential in terms of pushing your brand out there, but don't expect consumers to trust your brand just because an influencer is talking about it. They might know about your brand today, but they might not buy because they probably don't trust the influencer, or they just feel like everyone is promoting the same product. The new influencer marketing is consumers. Your consumers are your new influencers. If they're talking about your products, if they're recommending it to their friends, to their families, that's when you know they are your true influencers, and that's where you're probably winning and your revenue is going to grow right there. So I feel like both are important. You just have to choose the right purpose for which you're doing influencer marketing.
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement with Harsha because that's exactly what has happened with dessert therapy also. We've never reached out to influencers to help us with the marketing of the brand. Your own customers end up being your influencers. So, you don't need to, like, of course it helps, like she said, awareness, and, in the longer run, that's not going to be the most important thing. That may generate some buzz around your brand, but ultimately it's your customers and your product that will do the talking. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question actually. It's like, maybe actually I can even ask from the student side as well. My big question to all three of you is, you might have thought about a concept, right, for your business product actually that you have thought about, and making that concept into a physical form. Like in your case, ma'am, it was ice cream. In your case, it was cosmetics. And your case also, it was ice creams. Right?
Desserts.
Desserts.
We don't make ice cream.
Desserts
Yeah.
as such. Right. So my question is, in terms of bringing that concept into a physical form, did you had that technical expertise that were involved in making that product, or how exactly did you went ahead with working towards getting it into a physical form that you have today?
So for us, neither me nor my brother is from this background. We don't have any culinary expertise, but it's kind of a, you can say, passion, and I don't believe in it, but when I say it, it sounds weird, but it's God's gift, because my brother has tremendous, there's some magic in his hands that, what, I don't know how many of you have been to dessert therapy, but every single item on the menu is his creation. We don't have any chefs working for us. It's us all through and through. So it's his creation from scratch. And we learned it on the job because we didn't even know whether people will like it or not. So that's where we did all the test. Before launching the first cafe, we figured out where we will go wrong, because as far as food is concerned, all your friends and family are always going to appreciate, "Arey, bahut acha hai, bahut acha hai," and all of that. So, that happened with us also. We wanted a proof of concept. So when we started our business from home, we made all the mistakes. We learned from those mistakes without investing a lot of money upfront. We decided to, take one day at a time, learn from whatever we didn't know, evolve, and then get into the market, because as I said, money was always the issue. So we didn't have money to burn also. So that was the most important thing, to learn on the job, and then then set up our stores like that.
So the biggest problem in the beauty industry when you're talking brand side is MOQs. You have to purchase about 10,000, 20,000 pieces of every single product, and obviously back then, not having any investment, I started with my pocket money, which was 20,000 rupees worth of savings. That's what I started with. I called up manufacturers, and everyone had a different requirement, and that's not the kind of capital that we wanted to put in back then. So I went to the internet and I googled how to make a lip gloss, and that's where it popped up on YouTube, a video of how to make a lip gloss. I took that, I made my own formula, and I literally whipped up a lip gloss in my bedroom that day. And that's exactly within a month we launched in cosmetics with my very own formula. And over the years, obviously, I got a diploma in cosmetic science so that I could create more products and get better at it, and understand the industry a bit more better and really deep dive into product. But that was much later. That was almost a year later where I actually learned about product. But you all are so privileged today. We all are so privileged to have the internet, to have access to resources where you can learn things online now. It was not there before, and if you don't use that to your advantage, it's just honestly going to waste. That's what I sort of took advantage of. I learned a lot on YouTube. I googled a lot. We didn't have ChatGPT back then, so there was no ChatGPT for us. So it was a lot of research of how to actually build products from scratch, and that's also what we do till date. We manufacture 80% of our products in house. Our own cosmetic scientists and we work together to formulate every single product. So anything you see on our website is purely made by us. We don't copy paste formulas and just sell it into the market, because that's how deep we've got into the product. So again, all the resources are at your fingertips. It's just how you use them.
So as I told you all that we started our ice cream business from home. So home means, we just had that sanchaka machine with that salt and ice and everything, right? But when it started, the demand started growing, I had to approach some manufacturers. I met them, I put them their idea, I gave them this idea. I said, we want this product to be manufactured commercially so that it is shelf stable, it has at least 6 months shelf life. And then I got in touch with some food scientists who were working in the ice cream industry. I met them, I learned the whole science. There is one very good book called Arbuckle, which is since centuries. But the latest edition was just published and it was not available in physical copy. I downloaded the PDF copy, I got it spiral binding done. Even till today, it lies beside my cabin in my first drawer. So this learning thing, is very important, as even Arsha said, that she also tried and searched on Google, learned things to make, understand the formulation, understand the science. And today we have come to that point that, even if there is no consultant available, if I want to develop some new product, I can definitely formulate myself with the scientific formulation which I have already inbuilt. So these things are there, and even for the packaging, as a matter of fact, there are certain food grade plastics which are used for packaging. So initially we didn't, as Arsha rightly said, there were MOQs even for us, but there were 2-3 very good companies who supported us for low MOQs. They produced our IML cups. IML cups are the plastic food grade cups with the label inbuilt in it. So it looks like a printed cup as well. So with very few MOQs, like 3,000 pieces per flavor and all that we started with, today we have to order almost 7-8 lakh pieces. So you have to learn all this, because even I was asked on Shark Tank by Aman Gupta that आपको ये पहले से पता था कैसे ये किस में पैक करेंगे क्या करेंगे. मैंने बोला नहीं, I learned it through my journey, and that learning experience of the past 7 years is the best years of my life. So yes, keep on learning, keep on diving, keep on gathering more knowledge and spread the knowledge to everyone who needs it. That's all I would have to say.
Thank you. You have shared very valuable insights and stuff. From
See, I believe that a business has three aspects to it. First is the product. Your product should be ace. Second is your packaging, which is a part of marketing. And the third one is a strategic marketing. Not marketing to burn money and just give discounts over the counters and over the platforms. It is about strategically create marketing content which will really give value to the consumer in buying the product. So these three aspects, if they are addressed, I think it should do the job.
Sorry, can you just repeat your question because I couldn't hear you properly.
So I asked if you feel that you can shape the trends of Instagram or social media, do you feel that it will be new to the business, and do you plan on like scaling your business to launching more brand campaigns in the future? Like you mentioned yourself that you should value the customers and give them the product to feel and initiate that first impact. So do you feel that you will launch those campaigns then?
Definitely digital campaigns are very important for any online brand. Um, so doing that, I mean, we've done it with Parul Gulati, we've also done it with Emily in Paris. Those were strategic campaigns that we did to sort of push brand sales and brand awareness, and that worked out in our favor. So doing all of those brand campaigns very strategically is super important. I would not say follow trends because that's not how a legacy brand is built. It's not built by trends. That's actually a byproduct. If consumers actually start talking, if influencers start talking about your products and make it a trend, that's great, but that's a bonus. That's not what you should focus on. So definitely digital campaigns that are a little more impactful, a little more strategic would make more sense than just running behind trends purely.
Yeah, I agree with her. I was the one who used to, like, till date, I will be replying to all Instagram messages. All the posts that you see online are done by me. So rather than content creation and understanding what you need to do digitally, it is about staying in touch with what your consumers need, how they are going to respond online. That is something that will give you answers to how you want to market your product. If you rely on an agency, that's my personal opinion. If you rely on an agency, they wouldn't know. They will come with a set standard that ye karna chahiye, is influencer ko le lete hain, all of that. I have not been able to. My Instagram, like Dessert Therapy's Instagram page, is my baby. Like right from first post till date, till yesterday, whatever was posted is done by me. So we want to create more brand awareness because now times have changed and marketing is done in a different way today. But whatever growth that has happened through our brand has happened because, like I said, we had some first mover advantage. So Instagram and audiences online responded to us because of that, more than creating any awareness initially. And now you just have to, like, because we've been around for a long time, so now it's more about just reaching out to wider audiences and make sure that they are also aware of you, that kind of thing. So yeah, for that matter, we will have to do some kind of campaigning and all, but yeah, it's like more of a maintenance right now rather than bombarding content, that kind of a situation.
Okay, now we would like to conclude the session with just one last question. Is there one thing as a big brother or sister you would love to give all of us from your journey? What one advice you would give?
Hustle, hustle, hustle until you reach your achievement targets. That's all I have to say. Because without hustle, nothing is going to come on your lap. मेहनत बहुत करनी पड़ती है और वो मेहनत करने के लिए you have to take up all the challenges that come in the way. The problem solver is the best businessman. It's what I would advise.
Definitely agree with what ma'am said as well. For me, it would be discipline. and making sure it's very boring being an entrepreneur. I'm not gonna lie to you. You have to do the same thing every single day. There might be a few days in a month where it's something exciting is actually happening, but the power to do the boring is very important. Doing the same thing every single day and having that discipline to do it every single day is literally what I stand by, and that's what's kept me going all of these years as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think they've covered it really well. I think those are the two aspects that you definitely need to look into, because being an entrepreneur means you have to, sometimes it's like you don't have to be master of anything. You just have to be the jack of all trades kind of a situation, because you need to juggle a lot of departments, and that's where your strength lies, is to be able to handle everything put together. And that becomes boring. That also becomes challenging, because sometimes that one particular department may not be your expertise, but you still have to look into it, otherwise it's going to fall apart. So yeah, I think that's something that you need to do. One more thing, as you said, as an elder brother, sister, what I would like to add here is, never lose hope when you don't see a initial spurt of growth, because today it is easier to fall for all the facade that you see online. The influencers, the kind of, today brand owners are themselves influencers. So you don't have to become that. Your journey could be different. You can take smaller steps to getting there. Like our own brand is an example for that. Starting from home kitchen, ma'am also started from home kitchen. So you don't need to be right up there at the beginning. You can take your slow steps till there, and even if you achieve those targets, I would say you can be a little humble, and just be focused on what you need to achieve. Whether it's like she's like, ma'am is the most, I think, one of the most successful ice cream brands in India right now. But when she's sitting here, you can't see that in her demeanor, because she, in her own mind, is a hustler. She's working. She doesn't have any air about, oh, मैंने इतना sales कर दिया, ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया. Because for us, it's a journey, ongoing journey. It will always be an ongoing journey. From the outside, you might feel, oh, they've done this and that. But as an entrepreneur, from the inside, you still are at day one, and you have to keep still still learning from whatever you can.
Thank you.
And I would like to tell you all that India has gene as an entrepreneur. Each and every individual sitting here, everybody has that gene of being an entrepreneur. It's only that gene needs to be recognized by yourself. You should know whether you really want to work for others or work for yourself. This is a major distinction. If you feel, if you're going to do an MBA and you're going to get a 40 lakh package, yes, you will get, but the hustle will be different over there. So if you have one smallest idea, build confidence into that, be an entrepreneur, and still you will success. You will have a lot of time of happiness also. It's not always struggle, but when there is some achievement, you feel the heart full of joy. So go for it, be an entrepreneur, and make the Indian economy stronger.
So let's wrap this beautiful session by thanking our panelists, Ms. Arshia Kaur, Mr. Harsh and Ms. Jamisha, for joining us today and giving their time to us, and also giving their advice, sharing their journey with us. Along with that, we'll obviously like to thank our principals, Priti ma'am, Mayur sir, Abhijit sir, Shriram sir, Kanika ma'am, everybody for joining us today. And of course our IIC course for their incredible work. And our sponsors, title sponsor BGOS, Voice Partner Array, and Youthwell, Hostel Partner Youthwell.
Remember, innovation is a journey, not a destination. Take the insights you have gained today, use them to fuel your entrepreneurial path.
Thank you so much.